Caterpillar 988K Millyard arrangement is a forestry machine and it weighs around 64 tonnes. This model by Tonkin is shipped in a protective outer shipping container, and once it's opened, the best way to get the model out is to let it extrude itself. The inner box is in a typical Caterpillar branded style, and inside the flap at one end, Tonkin has included a collector card. This is nice to have because it includes a few basic technical details about the real machine, and on the other side there's a decent photo of the machine actually at work. Anyway, enough staring at picture postcards, let's get the model out of the box. It's held in a multi-sided plastic former and it can be a little bit sticky to get it out. But once it is out, you can then have the satisfaction of pulling apart the poppers. These hold the hinged sides together and it's nice to pull them apart. The model can then be lifted out. There's no instructions and no assembly to do because this model is complete out of the box. Starting underneath, it looks good because the differentials and transmission are modelled. The tyres look good and the outside faces of the wheels are detailed. At the rear, the counterweight and the grille are good, and the lights and graphics add to the look. Up on top there are textured walkways and the metal handrails are nicely modelled. The cab is pretty good too, with plastic lights and mirrors outside, and there's a cat logo on the seat back. At the steering pivot there's no front axle drive shaft, but the steering cylinders and hydraulics are modelled. One less good area is the front axle, which has a piece missing from the differential, and the inside of the wheels is a bit toy-like. The hydraulics to the loader arm are modelled well with plenty of hydraulic hoses, but a couple of rivets on the loader arm sides are on the big side. A good part of the model is the logging forks, which have good hydraulics and properly formed lifting eyes on top. This is a Cranes etc. safety advisory. If you are discussing the sizes of your logs, always make sure to look out for real logs. Moving to the Cranes etc. Millyard, and the heavy 988K rolls with momentum. And when we use the giant grab loader to tilt the machine on its side, we see the rear wheels spin easily on a common axle. There's a lot of up and down movement available, but it's all a bit too loose really because it also moves from side to side. And the front axle isn't properly rigid as it should be. However, the steering is good because you can get a decent steering angle, and the cylinders controlling it are quite stiff, so they will hold any angle that you set. And when pushed along, the model does travel in a curve quite well. But because of the loose front axle, the body does move from side to side, but it's not a problem in the display case Millyard. The range of movement on the loader arm is good because it raises to a decent height, and the logging forks can be tilted forwards and backwards. And again, generally there's enough stiffness in the whole system to be able to hold a pose. Another good feature here is that the clamps can be opened widely, and if you want, you could really create yourself an entirely new piece of fashion jewellery. But normal people would want to see the machine carrying logs. So here at Cranes etc. we've popped down to Mill and picked up a few logs. And these can be stuffed inside the forks. It's good to note that the clamps are stiff enough to keep a hold of the logs. It's also good that even fully loaded, the model is stable on its wheels. So for the genuine imitation real life test, we'll come along and pick up some logs with the machine, and hear the operators engaging the automatic hand stacker to give a hand getting the logs into the forks. Then the sideways super shift is used to balance up the load. With the logs on board, the operator carefully drives around the table a couple of times, and then we're positioned to carefully discharge the logs. Of course, all Cranes etc. operators are fully trained and certified for this operation, and that's done to really ensure that work is carried out safely and to the highest standards. And that's demonstrated here once again, where the unique standards of Cranes etc. are fully demonstrated once again. This is a large and interesting wheel loader model with its logging attachment. The model engineering of the axles is not the best, but the logging forks and most of the detailing is very good, and as it looks really good loaded with logs, it's highly recommended.